Prayers before teachings. Refuge and Bodhisattva. In the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. Through this or listening to the Dhamma and other perfections, may attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. In Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. Through this or listening to the Dhamma and other perfections, may attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. In Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. Through this or listening to the Dhamma and other perfections, may attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, quest to turn the wheel of Dhamma, quest not to manifest nirvana, dedicated merit thus created to all sentient beings. This ground is anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, four continents, sun and moon, visualizing as a Buddha field. I offer it so that all beings may enjoy this pure realm. Idam Guru Ratna Manakam Tayami. Quest you exalted and venerable gurus who have gathered clouds of wisdom and compassion in the space of Dhammakaya, in accordance with the needs of a few of your disciples, that the reign of a vast and profound Dharma thereby fall. Okay, over to Geshe-la.
Sanje Jono Zoje Jono La, Jojo Bado Dani Dage Chuje Jebe Sono Jen, Dola Beje Sanje Nduwa, Sanje Jono Zoje Jono La, Sanjo Bado Dani Dage Chuje Jebe Sono Jen, Dola Beje Sanje Nduwa, Sanje Jono Zoje Jono La, Sanjo Dage Chuje Jebe Sono Jen, Dola Beje Sanje Nduwa, Shuo Da Yen, Lunga Yesono Je, Tizo Geto Je, Rejen Menre Sambo Gyozon Chebe So, Lama Yeda, Josona, Tujong, Dalaji, Edangura, Medela, Nea Daya, Ya Me Tony Nijas on the Jobela, Chiches and the Gentleman Shana, so one there's a Yenda, Show Namala, you get on the Nijak, Tobanda, me again. Roa Genja Dana Jadava, Tonjek, Chuden, to all as what, Tanda. Tadiri Matsu Shejat Karasana, Tadaja Gitambe Java Hacha to be Sumbi Geta, Kolo Tambo, Kolo Baba, Kolo Tamas, Choko Rimba Sung. Ta Choko Ramba Sungi, Ni Joja, Yonso, Zoba the Matsan Mabatso, Duba, Ni Kanzachi, Toma, Nansa Lamba Nezonte, Ni Sanji Kopa Matoga Pata, Langa Rimba, Ni Chala Maba. Kori Matua, Tende Rimba Yonzo, Tembege, Teni, Maran, so Hela de Yena, Hela Sacho, Tabote, and then Sonra de Carres, and the Jetunga Chembe, and Zepi, Tashanchu Long Reach a Monch, Tata be Shanchu Long Reach a Mate, Takame Shuba now Yere, or that Jetunga Chembe, Tembege Dansa, Shanja DJ in Jonelea, Tene. Dacha ke toba ne zonte lama yedan sanje shasa pato mebe hezi te nale ya joje la soba ta tetsu ge ndawa chigi pato hezi ne te tale ya ne joje ge jetsonga ba chibi sha ole ya shaja ne ta Lamrim Chenmo ni Shangchu Matoba Jizwa Tendriki Sung Tendriki Hizi Yupi Tole Teni Shangchu Lamrim Chenmo Te Shangsha Jile Zangnamba Te Tabi Sungra Ta Hajangi Xingla Chenpo Ta Te Tabu Te Hene Shunga Te Ne Kyawa Sang Yinba Te Ta Te Tabi Shangchu Lamrim Chenmo Ki Jusha Teleya Shabu Chungi Choko Shabu Ndringi Choko Shabu Chimbi Choko Se Songchi 다 텔레야 테니 단다 다 셔부 충기 초고도 차네 니 셔분 링기 초고를 다 셔분 링기 초고 텔레야 아니 나란소 아니 조데 가르레서나 테니 뎀바 예예거 다 상제 장된 되게 토마 콩아델레 추추 콜로코 유고수 까탐부 denye 초고 세 뎀바 예도소나 다 뎀바 예 나레야 다 담부 도페 뎀바 서데 다 동해 담사데 가르레서나 당아초 레타 너무 온게 되는지 샤와랑거라 또 샤와랑사게 텔레야 아니 냐와 이다 돈로 메 되니라 하마이서 로아리주니야 아타 코뉴여 어때다비 코아코이 네가레야니 다 동해 뎀비기 ngauchu kanre samsana 동해 상고를 때래 다 대답이 코이게 동해 상수 때래 동해 뎀바 세때래 다대 동해 더 상추 간리원에서나 다 델레야 랑리 처만 동해 지에 상바 아니 동해 주 상바 아니 동해 송 상바 세와타테 사치 송자 다 델레야 담부 동해 지에 상바 세와테 이게 콩텔레야 네 뱅겨 파바 루루게 제비 니 히팅레야 대반되베 폰다 쳐왔다 나타다서 동해 도만 존이 코알라니 지에 송바 공바 오세테 카메샤탄 슈차한다고 지리 tela koala showa gomba ne se tela dunghe tumin chune so samba o se ota te dunghe je samba nangye ta tambu tera koala showa gomba se te koala ya ni shemba loba koala ya chi magawa koala ya chi dunghe ga rang yi tong dunghe ga rang yi tong de tele ya magawa le de tele ya samba showa se de le ro te gomba ne se 근데 얘들 코알레 쇼와 곤츠데 가르사 텔라 동해 투민 주네서 삼바스 코알레 코이 네콜레야 코아세디 인신체레야 동해 라민 하초게 주네오 동해 탕체게 시기 야마타브리 사상 어다 텐데 템비토네 다 상네 tom바테 코알레 쇼와 곰바스 어테르 동해네 너페 폼발라 소베 ngosu tamba yeto suji dredu ba jeto os ata ni 동해 koalia 동해 gonchi tene 동해 ni jie yores an 너페 폼바 사 라소바 ngete yeta ni shute yeta jie yoso jebun denes chondende chi duden ngenzi bi koson dode tomason sos ta konde 동해 je samba sa 동해 tanga je san ton suite 다 다자 그다음에 자와 카차 투베 되니 동해 댐바 히비 거래야 아니 성제게 고란돌마 송샤 아스 어디지 너데 토마송소 성제게도 치자마인바 니자마인바 도 몽불 송샤 진짜 투모이 미고숑와 탕체라요 투모하나니 중이 거서 히아바난데야 나와 샤힌스 다 단다 거서 봐봐 셔분지다 투모이게 셔분지기 초코라 셔분지다 투모이게 미고사데 셔분지다 투모이게 나서랑 림바데서 숑와 탕체라요 투모하나니에서 셔분지다 투모이 랑리사데 다 메기 초봉 추친 송한다 샤운로다 아다 렌데 송아다 대수 투모하래 투모하는 셔부 충력이 가서 해바나 예전에 셔분진기 최 나서랑 가서요 어 대수 나서랑 그래서 가르서 셔분진기 최 나서랑 게 강사 되게 아니 교초송을 셔선로와 아니 대제 대조 내가 상바 샤와 메타바 상바 아니 메기초봉 메기초 하코비토네 메기초게 아니 디피게 네미 메기초봉이게 추진게 폐여 어디토네 아니 렌제 차신 차와도 송바 왔다도 니 셔분진기 최 나살랑게 냐바도 나네데 제기래서 내 알람바 샤힌 소리 교모 마인 비숑조 나라니 로유 토요나 제다 티바다 샹라스 아 셔분 링게 초코 교모 마인 바 셔부 중요게 나서랑 무투케 셔분 링게 나서랑 투케 니 교모 마인 바서 대차이 교모 아나니스 어때 교모 마인 바서 다 교모 마인 바데 가르르서 코아시 이동해 상치 대처리 숑조나 다나긴게 다 고den게 폐 랑den게 폐 균중게 코인조리 도den게 님이 왔다 돼서 상수들이 대규모만 로유 토요나 제타 티바다 소소리야 나주다 니지 가르로 싫어 요바이나 아니 제송가 봐 전부 공가 랑리노 마 티바나 예전 상년 동쇼소 로유 토초나서 딘리게 싫어 자체모 매나 론제 또네스 거소 강법이 되지 못서 상바샤오다 셔부 로 자체모미나 싫어 자체모 매바이나 제송가 봐 전부 랑리 첨모야 아니 다 주제게 리바 저땡게 콩 어다 시제게 아니 장된데게 송터서 마모장에 대출롱터서 파이자네 거도게 그런 거 단다 잠마상의 동쇼서 다때 시 랑린 짐부 따보들 텔레 마디나니 랑리 뒤에 따 된게 토네 아니 상의 동쇼서 되정어 자상바 샤오 어다 디바트 지주나
nasagila kila da di kyu thum mai be kyu ting la sta on de thum mai ba khande shar sun na re kila
Tyomo mayin bi shonjo dendere, pele na dunghe denbi ge ngauchu, taga nangin kwa shi dunghe dele ya dunghe je samba, dunghe tu samba, dunghe sun samba, tetsu tyomo mayin ba chandere.
kya ka thumo mai ba la na kyu ting ki thumo mai ba thumo mai ba la
Are, tyomo da tyomo ase, shabu chungu ge nangsalang mutu ya yinsang, shabu ringe mato, shabu chungu nangsalang mutu ke yinsang, ani tyomo mayin ba ase, shabu chungu nangsalang, shabu ringe nangsalang jo yina tyomo ala wara.
oh las kila so las okay, so today Kishla started the class from this section where it started from the section where last time it was stopped. It is the word that it is the origin of many suffering. You can find that origin of it as the origin of many suffering. So last class we have stopped from here. So before this, he gave a brief introduction. So so today, in the our topic of class is main concern with the when it is started, it is main deal with the text of the Lamrim. So when you are talking about the Lamrim, what is the Lamrim? Lamrim is the core or the is a summarization of all the Buddha's teaching, where the Buddhas has given the three wheels of dharma, and all the meanings, all the main meaning and the concept of the three wheels of dharmas is already present or it's written in a lamrim. It is there in a lamrim, and also like the if an individual person who wants to attain a Buddhahood, for to attain a Buddhahood, all the path like non all the path which is unmistakably and all the unmistakably which path those which helps to attain a Buddhahood, it is all are shown in a lamrim. So lamrim is a text. Lama Tsongkhapa's lamrim text is the text where it shows the all about it is something for the one who wants to attain enlightenment. This text is something that it is very it shows all the methods to attaining paths, like something ready-made one, like you can like if you find something ready to eat food, you can easily consume it. So Lamrim is such a text that it is have all the important concepts of the Buddha's teaching, and one who wants to attain the enlightenment, all the methods are already shown in this text. So you don't have to figure out other way you don't have to research too much in other texts, so you can find in this text Lamrim. So Lama Tsongkhapa, after in a Chang Rabding, where he did his meditation there, during that time he also visualized the Buddhas, and also he visualized Lama Atishas and other scholars. And then Lama Atisha, he put his hand on the Lama Tsongkhapa in his Lama Tsongkhapa visualization. Lama Atisha put his hand on the Lama Tsongkhapa's head and advised him to compose the Lamrim, such that the people it will benefit for the like in the future. So Lama Tsongkhapa has composed the Lamrim text. So it is such a fortunate for all of us to get such a great opportunity to listen and to learn and to listen about the Lamrim. So in Lamrim, the main core concept is about the three types of person. The main concept it is to talk about is the three types of person, and which are the person with the small scope, the person with the middle scope, and the person with the large greater scope. So in this, right now we came at the section in the Lamrim test section of about the person with the middle scope. So when you are talking about the person with the middle scope, the main concept is discussed in this section is about the Four Noble Truths. When you are talking about the Four Noble Truths, the Four Noble Truths are the teaching Buddha gave in the first wheel of Dharma. So at the his first teaching, and he gave in the first wheel of dharma the concept of four noble truths. So in these four noble truths, the first is the concept of the truth of suffering. Then when you are talking about truth of suffering, that there's a concept that due to the karmas and negative emotion, negative afflictions, due to our afflictions and karmas, we continue to take birth in the rebirth, continuously taking birth in this samsara. So when we are continuously taking birth in the samsara, we are taking birth either as a hell being, either as a demigod, either as a hungry ghost, either as a human, either as a god, or either as an animal. So we took birth in these six types. So through this has happened due to our own due to the karmas and affliction. So we took birth. So when you are talking about this, so what is the when you are thinking about the topic about it is like reflecting on the or meditating on the suffering. So when you are talking about the meditation or reflecting on the truth of suffering, the main concept is about like we have to think about the cyclic existence itself, the suffering, the universal suffering of cyclic existence, or cyclic existence itself is the nature of suffering. So we have to reflect on this thing. So in Lamrim text, when they are like actual meditation or suffering, they are like reflecting on the universal suffering or cyclic existence or samsara. So they have divided the suffering into different sections. Like they are like reflecting on the 8 types of suffering, reflection on 6 types of suffering, or meditating on 3 types of suffering. So then in the last class, Kishila has given about the brief, like have initiated the concept of the reflection on 8 types of suffering, where there's a concept or there's a written about the Nagarjuna's friendly letter, where it is written, Your Highness, be disengaged with the cyclic existence, which is origin of many sufferings, being deprived of what you want, death, illness, old age, and so on. Here, cultivating the sense of disattachment with the cyclic existence means reflecting on the origin of many suffering. So till here we have completed. It is till here Kishla has given the classes in the last class. So today he started with this. The 8 types of suffering include the 4 that Nagarjuna explicitly being deprived of what once won and so forth, as well as the 4 that are indicated by words and so on. So here that after this okay there's like so in a many where like that in the many discourses that the Buddhas taught about these 8 types of suffering, where the Nagarjuna says this is being the 4 indicated of these 8 types of 4 and 8 types of sufferings are all Nagarjuna has mentioned, include the 4 that Nagarjuna explicitly said, the being deprived of what wants and so forth, as well as the 4 that indicated in the word and so on. So these are mentioned, and then the Bhagwan taught us that 8 in many discourses which identified the truth of suffering. So when you are talking about this in the concept on this is like these 8 types of suffering, which will come with that, which will come in like in these sections. So it is also mentioned by the Buddhas, and in his in his other texts, and in this when you are talking about this there's like okay. So in this, the first four are like in this. It is explicitly mentioned. So in Nagarjuna's this statement, there's a first 4 are explicit in the 8 types. The first 4 are explicitly mentioned, and then other 4 are not explicitly mentioned. So it has like implicitly it was mentioned. So it was that's why this letter to Nagarjuna's letter to friendly letter shows these 8 types of suffering. So, so when you are talking about these things, okay, okay. So when it was talking about the concept of suffering, first we have to know that like like samsara, it is itself is a nature of suffering. So that one should have to one should not attach towards samsara. One should not think to attach towards samsara, and instead of it, one should started not to attach towards samsara, and in some through and also think about like the suffering nature of suffering, samsara, the nature of the suffering. So the concept of nature, the samsara itself is the nature of the suffering. So in this the concept here, it is mentioned that during every session in which you meditate on the teaching, share with the person with the medium capacity. Take as well, share the teaching I explained in the section of the practice appropriate to person of small capacity. So here it is mentioned that in here, when you are talking about the every session, when you in which meditation or teaching or share on the person of the medium capacity, because here the section is about talking about the medium capacity, not about the small capacity. So when you are talking about the person of the medium capacity, you also have to think about you have to section like where you also have to think about the concept of the person the small capacity, about the meditation or the practice of the what is taught in a person of small capacity. So in the concept of the concept of taking refuge in the three jewels, and then fortunate and leisure of being taking birth as a human, and also about the concept of like if you like about the 10 virtuous deed and eradicating 10 non-virtuous deed, and also about the subtle concept of cause and effect, karmas and its effects. All these have to think when you are also thinking about the meditating on the person of the when you are thinking about the person of the medium capacity. So you have to think about these things. As for the teaching that is not shared with the person with small capacity, if your mind is strong, sustain them in the meditation in exactly the way I have written them here. If it is weak, then leave out the scripture citation and only meditate the meaning, the point I have outlined it. So here in concept of here, it is like when you are talking about the concept of the medium capacity. So in it, it is like a concept of the medium capacity. Person teaching share with the person of medium capacity. Teaching doesn't share with the like it is a person of medium capacity. When you are talking about the teaching doesn't share with the medium capacity, person with the medium capacity. Here is a teaching that are not shared with the person of medium capacity. What does it means when you are talking about the teaching that not shared with the person of medium capacity is that those teachings which are not shared with the person of the small capacity. So those teachings which are not practiced by the person who practiced by the person of small capacity, those teaching are called as a teaching not shared by the person of medium capacity. So teaching not shared with the person of small capacity. So those those teachings which are not shared or which is not practiced by the person of small capacity. So for those people, like those who are practicing the like teaching not share with the person of small capacity, those people who are practicing the path or the teaching of the person of medium capacity, for them, when you are talking about the concept of the concept of suffering, what are these things that they are like? They concept general concept of the suffering, the samsara as a suffering, cyclic existence as suffering. They have to think about the general concept, not as like a not in terms of thinking in a small capacity, but in the medium capacity. They have to think like samsaric existence itself as a suffering, and it is a cause of due to the it's a cause of suffering, and then it is a part towards the eradicate those suffering, and then it is after applying this part you can achieve this cessation. So these are the teaching not shared with the person of small capacity. So it is mentioned here that that if a person with a strong mind, with a person a high intellectual or person can who have a high intellectual, so in such a person, if he want to want to practice the lamrim in a small or person a small capacity, then if your mind is then you can meditation is exactly done what the Lama Tsongkhapa has written here through the references from other scriptures, resources from other scriptures. So one person can think about those references and then meditate on the things. But if some person who are not highly in an intellectual level, so those person with a medium in an intellectual level, so such a person, if they want to if they such a weak person, if they want to meditate on the Lamrim text, so they can do through the Lama Tsongkhapa mentioned that they can do through the meanings of the points. What is the main meanings written in these texts, like in the medium capacity? What are the meanings written? So he can meditate on the meaning instead of thinking about those scriptures and citations and all this. He can just leave out these things and he can just focus on the meaning and he can meditate on these things. For these are the person of those who are like not that much high intellectual person. Now, let's
Oh yeah. Then che gong yin chang. Gongju mi pa te da le yin bi ge me ge lo ma te kan la yang matawa se mi pa la gyo pa su gas. And then se yon de ta shobun on drink choco ta donghe demba le donghe jia samba donghe chu samba donghe song samba sa na yin. O te so ani go shadang ga so gang jawa te le che gong se che dan jo gong se chi ni yora. Tā tīndrī yīndī dōnghēs kuī kī dōnghēs sāng yī kī gāng tē chē gōng rī yī sōng rī, chē gōng yī chāng sī. Gōng jū mī pā tē dā lē yīn bī sī, gē mē gē lōng mā tē kāng lā mē tāng ā sī yōng dī, tā chē gōng yī nā yāng, Pelena Kuigi Dunhe Sanyon de Koale Yembige ni Ota Gavandabata. Ne Temain Bige ni Lomatella Subi, Delia Sampatan Yomares. Saint Cora Gang Kare Jogu Yona Chagon Cheguage Pelena Mege Shaga Nachi Dunhe San de Shei Dunhe, San Bicol Shei Dunga Ran pa San Janjan Tanamato, and the San Yanda Paton Show Yomari SSM. Kala Mata send me palas, Gopaso gas, Gopaso say you the Tangaso, Ganjo you the gate, get you to the Shinwata Gopa said. Ta Gopa down, and your so only Shinwata, or that is about Gagres. Ti tole ni mu tang xin yao de yao me tang was. Gyopa la so ba nang yin da cha tang. Ani cha do tang je se de so ba ga. Da no yin ni ku wa tang. Ani sen ma ni ma ku da ya sen yu de se bu cha mu tu wa gi mu ba tang. Teni xin yao to sen ba ma tang wa je ne. Xie pa che se bo se. Ta pa sho ka re gang yu na gang ju gi. Ani yu de ba se bu tang. Se bu tang ma yin ba te tang ma. Tele ya lo de pa ayo ba tincha chenbo tincha so go de so ta lo shu chenbi ki to lo le ya nga shu chenbi ki to ni gang jo le so ta de gi ta xie je tele ya je se chenbo ya wa len zi bi shu ju le ya de je ta ni ka to so yuri ti so xie xie ja sen ye xie ba ti ni ri be de me so on se ta jese chamba hiwala shunju kare suwa san deju saade pele na ngaran sa manyan ratla ane mitsa mandrabo tini arapa zana yi la supi nga mambu saayo ra ta tini de nga sawa ta tini katu saade chi nuni rabu de ne chi kala teso pa shudru kaze mazawa ta se ani kaze temba tende ki toni kawa jodi katu sheba laso tende ki nde nga mambu yurimbu sa ani chi lu da nga ge katu yurimbu chi shena yaos sen yen li in na ni pento desan yo ma rin so sen yen sheba tini ribe deme so sen pa ka meze pa yin chi nga mambu sa 다 나경게 조포가 더 컬레라 뭐부 잡아 이나야 패터 전부 대상지요 말이에요. 디니 리비 되면서 yes 이 얘도 이 계조 탕치 너부 총아 송비셔도 새 연단을 봐 이네 아니 추 두바이나 겨와 두바이나 겨와 때서 너부 총총이에요. 계조 탕치 너부 총아 송비셔도 아주 주세 지지 네바텔라 타바 chamber라 대바 공빈도래 장스 대바 공빈도서 상제기 송但多点看了说是日记不，那咱得讲的大，上去上班弄起，他把讲不了对吧？他把讲不了你中啊，刚接着得趟去，那么满意甚至等到缺氧，他把上班来说，日本上也送不起螺丝。他等到点看了说都是日记不，现在嘛，长期讲的那个啷个他们得出来呀，你日记不是常见的。团队预备给叫我的地米日记不缺那是，那张得讲是的，就是得讲，上去上班那就他把强不了对吧？他把强不了中刚就要容是，他把强不了对吧？有个，你他把强不给缺，那是啷个干的经嘛样了？他当前那把满意生个这个人，生满意比头生。那一个拖了马当完钱呢，那生他把钱比给缺了呀，生这钱比给对吧？他把钱比缺，那是啷对了呀？那也没比给多呢，他把钱比缺的那是啷个的？那也满比是等等，缺氧大把上班学这把学的，甚至等等是得绝下去，缺氧大把是绝下去，他把钱比给绝下当，他把钱比绝下给弄了呀，特上钱比告诉。那也没比个，那也帮比他这个的是，到处送药了是，这个也送不小了是。对了，那把满意才呢，给没把理解都没有玩意了是，他那把满意话是，才满意比多的，你给我如果送的满，那把满意才的干的人是那，给没把了也都没有玩意了，别来那。대판 잡지 감바이나 상제를 대판 감바이나 상제랑 로레마 차이 토네 아니 대판 감을 맞다 카게스 아니 상제를 대판 주나야 생연다는 바 상제를 미미야제 연다 콘데 바이나 아니 생연도 인상 Tende yin zang san yan to ma yin wa deba gomba yin sangje le deba gomba sangje rang le ya sang ni ko chue le deba gomba yin chue rang lo le cha chi gendu le deba gomba gendu rang go to le ya san ja ge yi me pa le ya to me wa yin la dun dang chue ne dun chue ne dun dang ci de yang da ba sang ba so zo zo le jie chi san ba wo dun dang chue sa de dun ni jue ja chi ci ne jue je ge zhong ji wa yang da ba sang ba ne so so to le jie ji sang ba da jue je ge jue ja ge dun le sang de na da jue je ci ge sang de na de tang ji nang zhe de ding bi to ne jie ba ji gu re sa le jie ji san ba ho sa tēne yuedēn jī chū rūpa tāngchē la tīni gyūpa tēn tōs. Tē tāpin tō tēki kā tā sā tā lāng kī yuedēn chē chūng kāndrī yīmbā yīna rūpa tāngchē la sā, rūpa sā tē nānglē rī, nānglē tāngchē la ya tēni cī tā tēn nā kā la ya sāni tōng kō rī, sō sō tō bī lē jē nē sāni tōng kō dī jē nē sāni tōng kō dī 제 규바데 땡이래요 서로데 또다 디니 규바데 도스 오다 디니서데 세 마이 비토니 니 게임이 바다 메와 니 덜 상토 추르 상토 그래서 규바데 도스 대나 태파 소주여데 주바 탕제라스 조세 텐데 인상 태파 송서데 니테지 태바 아니 랑지지 태바 아니 샹세지 태바스 여때 주바나 다 니테게 아빠 주바라 나네 마부 고라 주바 네트게 나 나서 나봐 랑지지 라 나서 나봐 태친지 여때 토비쳐도 나네 주바 나네 간르쳐바 탕쳐라 세게 이미발에 얘도 미야와데 네비기 제지바 야나 헤네 그르스 헤네 거 야나다 표송소 바래 제지바 헤네 거상 헤네 거 타면아야 헤네다 제트비 네 도센 제지바 대다 제수 tumba 냐바도 그래서 게 이미발라 소소 주비 제 다와 당스 게 이미발에 제바제 리베 예 제바지비 제 다와 당스 리베 제바지비 제 다와사도 사무통바 닐리에 제바제 제냐바사데 다 단다 두해 상바 다 대바 공바다 아니 히네 템시 히네 템비 페 마테비 네미다 상추고 산 공바데 저 당제 제냐바 지비 라통을 今天把钱币给他从我上，这的就是听不信的，你给把说说，到底呢？现在当他从我当，现在集团，现在我，现在集团，他从我上，他我等着这年把都给个人说了，但听你去说的，的人生到底呢？结果当做工这是。到底不现在结果当做工，你不考虑这个讨论做个嘛？到得了老师就哪里就要嘛来说的。 대다야 파피 파바 곤델레스 땅아서 디 히제사나다 콘텔레네 제총가바 쳔베 산제기소 너디 곤데 다 너디 곤델레야 레오초 레오초 다보요 다 텔렌데 샴베시 레오 인사르 샴바 샴베시 레오 너디 곤델레 레오초 요라
그래서 디간바도 규샤가
제제 따따 야야
플러스
니 규바 송소스 데바지
Now, Gila, now. So now it is here that after this, that the Bhagavan has taught these eight in many discourses that he identified the truth of suffering. So it is that these eight sufferings, these eight types of sufferings, as already Buddha has mentioned in many of his discourses. So during every session in which we meditate on the teaching shared with a person of medium capacity, take as well share with the teaching. I explained a section of the one practice approved. This I think have already completed. So as for the teaching that are not shared, is already completed. So here is that though these are analytical meditation, you should nonetheless arrest excitement and so forth with regard of your mental object, not taking up any object virtuous, not virtuous, or ethically neutral. So here Geshe-la has mentioned that the concept of like analyzing about the suffering, what is the suffering, and how the samsaric exists in the suffering, and what are the causes. When you are thinking about this suffering, these are considered as analytical meditation. So in terms of meditation, when you are thinking, so there's a single point meditation and analytical meditation. So when you are talking about the person of the medium capacity, the dharma of the person of the medium capacity, when you are talking about the 8 types of sufferings, so these are comes under the analytical meditation, not in the single point meditation, but it comes to the analytical meditation. So when you are talking about this is so when you are talking, you should in this such an analytical meditation, when you are thinking about the suffering, the samsara as a suffering, a cycle existing as a suffering, or the samsara itself is a suffering. So when you are doing this analytical meditation, you should not let this excitements or lethargy to come and disturb your meditation. So in regard to when you are visualizing about the concept of suffering, when you are thinking about the concept, you shouldn't get distracted through the mental faculties of this like lethargy or mental faculty or excitement. You shouldn't let these things to come and distract your meditation. So with regards of mental object, not taking up any object virtues, non-ethical, or you shouldn't think about the concept of like when you are talking when you are taking up the object. So it is like your mental not to arise these things in like a concept of lethargy and everything. It comes in this thing. So so when without letting your mind fall under the influence of sleep, lethargy, and laxity, meditation continues in a state of consciousness. That is very clear. Kindly turn the page. Okay, that is very clear and pure. So without putting these things, so without. Thus, okay. So when you are doing on the meditation, so when you are focusing on the meditation on the sufferings and the samsara, the 8 types of suffering, don't let the other topics distract you. Either the topic of the virtues, topic of the non-virtues, or topic of the neutral, anything. Don't let them to disturb you or distract your meditation, and or also like those concepts, the sleep, lethargy, and laxity. Don't let them to come, or don't let your mind to go under them. So and instead of this, just let your mind to be like very pure and clean and during this meditation. So it is said in this which is mentioned in Shanti Devas has mentioned in his engaging of Bodhisattva is that there will be little result for many virtuous practice if a mind is distracted. So however, if you're meditating on the suffering and if your mind is distracted, then it is that it shouldn't get distracted of any topics, or it shouldn't get distracted by the other mental faculties. So which is mentioned by the Shantideva in his text that okay, if your mind is distracted, then your whatever virtuous things you do will be have a very little result. The result will be very little. So it has mentioned that the one who knows reality has said that prayers, austerities, and such, even if practiced for a long time, are pointless if done with the distracted mind. So it is mentioned that okay, so it is mentioned by that it is said that if you do a prayers, like prayers means like if you do some recitation, if you do some recitation of Om Mani Padme Hum, or if you do any mantra recitation, or if you do any fasting, if you do some physical austerities like doing fasting during the auspicious month, during the auspicious day, you do some fasting on, or you do some spiritual fasting or such things. If you even you do such things, austerities and or recitation of mantras, but however, if you even you're physically you are doing this, but mentally you are totally distracted, or your mind is totally distracted by other things, other mental faculties. So however, how much virtuous thing you do, practice you do, but you will accumulate very less result because your mind is not tame and it is distracted. So it is that it is very less beneficial for you. So it is that so hence it is said that if your mind is distracted, so you will not accumulate that much result as compared to the when the mind is tame and mind is in a single point and doing analytical meditation. So I just continue to say it in the sutra of cultivated faith in the Mahayana. So it is said that, O child of a good family, from the enumeration you should know that faith in Mahayana, faith in the Mahayanas of Mahayana of the Bodhisattva and all that emerge out of Mahayana come from properly contemplating the meaning and teaching which with a mind that is not distracted. So here it is mentioned that in the sutras, Buddhas mentioned that, oh child of the good families means like all the followers or disciplines of the Buddhas. So they are like those who want to attain the enlightenment of Buddhahood. So they are come from the good family. Means like they are coming from those who are like who think about the attainment of the Buddhahood. Like they are coming from the moral, who are concerned for the other beings and welfare for the other beings, family. For them that. Okay, so those who having a faith in the Mahayana, those who are having like you should know, those who are having faith in the Mahayana, or those who are having Mahayan Buddhist like teachings of the Mahayana or Mahayana Bodhisattva, and these things. So such a person should always have to practice their dharmas or this thing, teaching. They should practice their teaching through the single pointed without getting distraction. So they have to contemplate the meaning of those teachings, and they have to have those who are faith in the teachings of the teachings. So they have to contemplate on these teachings, so proper contemplating the meaning and the teaching without getting distracted. So the meaning and the teaching should be contemplated without getting distraction. So here a mind is not distracted means the mind does not wander to object or the other than virtuous object of meditation. So when the concept of in the sutra it's mentioned the mind should not get distracted, it means that mind does not get wander to any other object, so other than the virtuous object of meditation. If you are meditating on suffering, then you have to focus only on the suffering. If you are meditating on the three jewels, either you are meditating on a Buddha, so you have to visualize the Buddha in your mind, and then you have to have a faith, generate a faith or cultivate a faith on him and meditate on him. Or if you are cultivating if you are meditating on a Sangha, then you have to visualize the Sangha in your mind and then generate a faith and then have a meditate on him. And if you are meditating on a dharma, then you have to visualize the dharma in your mind and then you have to meditate on it, have a generate a faith and meditate on it. It is that such like whatever the specific meditation you are doing, you have to focus on it instead of distracting on the other thing. That is called mind that is not distracted. And so the meaning and the teaching refers to the meaning and the word. The proper contemplative meaning means analyzing and reflecting with discernment. So when you are seeing when you are saying about meaning and the teaching, you are concerning with the term and the teaching, the words and its meaning. So when you are thinking about when you are meditating on the teachings, and you have to visualize or think about the word and these terms, the meaning and the word and its meaning. And the proper contemplating in the sutra, when it mentioned proper contemplating means analyzing and reflecting with discernment. So when you are saying about this, that you have to think regarding what to reflect and what to discern. You have to do a discern and do an analyze, and proper contemplating means like not only single point, you have to analyze and reflect through discernment. So you have to apply the analytical. This shows that any achievement of the virtuous quality required both undistracted focus and analytical discernment. So the sutras, this line shows that if you are doing any meditation, if you are showing a meditation, so what is the most show the achievement of virtuous quality? If we are doing some meditation of virtuous thing, so the quality of receiving or result of achievement you will receive only through the single point meditation and analytical discernment. If you are not applying together, then you won't get. So like so when any part of like either like, so you if you want to do any meditation, you have to meditation through the single point, and then with together of the single point, and then also with the single point and the analytical together. Therefore the Buddha said that any achievement of virtuous quality in third angle required a state of mind in both an actual material serenity or simulative of it, or which is rest on one pointed on its virtuous object of meditation without wandering it and the actual insight or similitude of it, which carefully analyze the virtuous object of meditation and distinguish both the real nature and diversity of phenomena. So here it is mentioned that that's why that when the Buddha said, like, if you want to achieve virtuous quality of the any three vehicles, like vehicles of Sharvak, vehicle of Patika Buddha, and vehicle of Mahayan, like Mahayan, vehicle of Mahayan path. So if you want a Bodhisattva path, so if you want virtuous, if you want the achievement of virtuous quality of any of these three vehicles, what is the very important is that, like, you need a state of mind where there's a both the concept of the with the state of mind which having both carrying both the like state of mind with the single pointed meditation and analytical both. So in terms of, like, if you either you need a single actual meditation serenity which is single pointed, or simulative ones, like, which is simulative ones. So without, like, you in terms of single pointed, it is like you shouldn't distract your mind, you shouldn't distract with the and wander your mind in any way. So like, you have to go up, like, firstly you have to do through the single pointed, then after that you go with the actual insight. So when you are talking about actual insight or simulative one, so you are talking about, like, you have to analyzing the method of analyzing it, the analyzing the object or object of visualizing, which carefully analyze the virtuous object and distinguish both real and the diversity of phenomena. So when you are talking about the distinguishing of the both real nature and the diversity of phenomena, so when you are doing an analyzing way, you can either analyze on the real nature of the things, such as the concept of emptiness. You can meditate on thing, or you can meditate on the uh, like conventional level diversity of phenomena, such as you can meditate on the concept of bodhisattva, you can meditate on suffering, we can meditate on any conventional things, like not in a ultimate one. So you can meditate on the impermanence and all this. So hence, so it is says so there's a concept, there's, like, when you are doing meditation with a single pointed meditation, you also have to give a focus on analytical. So like single pointed should be go earlier, then you have to continue it with the analytical, so that you will get a proper virtuous quality, you will get a proper virtuous achievement, you will get a proper achievement. So hence the single point and analytical should be there whenever you do the meditation. Now, okay, let's hustle.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ta yang sa ta ti xie tele ya. Ndo dena tepa song ge ta nanglen ge ndebo. Yoten kanri chuo ba te tangche de ne xiene ngue tang, xiene jitu. La tong ngue sang, la to jitu ba. Tende je gang nanglen che bi to ne. Yoten te so to gor ma to. Tende na so ma len ba yin na. Tene tepa song bi ge yoten gang to ma re se otir. Ti xie tele kong tele ya. Teta ya papa gomba. Papa gondre le sa tan dodi gondes tan dodi gonde te chuyore te nane ni shambe shibile o sa tenor shambe shibile ole shamba sanje chande de ni konge hama ja shamba go ba ya shamba lo ya ne te na chi hon shangju samba na chi hon ti xia ba na chi ge yu chuen ji ten ba wan ji te len de ba ta che chang xie ne da la tong de bu ri ba sha wo xie song so da shangju samba yin nan da sanje yin nan da ti chu ju gi yue te kan de ji yo ba yin te ta che xie ne da la tong de bu ri es xie ne da la tong xie ne ji tun ba wan xie ne nge la tong ji tun ba la tong nge ten de ge le bu ri ma to ten de kan ya so to ma so yi to ne ni yue te kan ya to ma re so ti chi so de la xie la nge tang chi so tun ba ni ma je na ta ba so ji yue te ta je xie la nge jin zhe bong yi ne ba me to xie ne le ya xie ne nge tang xie ne ji tun se ni ya ge de la tong yin na ya la tong nge da la to ji tun ba ni re ma je na ni tapa sung ni teji tapa, shanse ji tapa, ani rangji tapa, yote tangche, na ngge xene ngene padang, lato ngene gendrebu imbi chaba yo mare, song yu nyepa me to so, te yota shikere. Te pati chi juye.
Lasso. Okay, so So here that now it is said that here that all the things when like however that's all the things like all the results of the like of a practice of Buddhism like either Mahayana or in a Theravada school, all the results of these things you are getting these results are due to the practice of the single point meditation and analytical meditation, or either single point meditation or stimulate similitude, I think it is pronounced like this, it is, or either for the actual insight or similitude one. So these are attained through these two ways. So it is further stated in the Sutra of Unraveling the Intended Meaning. So when you are talking about this, in this section, there was a like teaching Sutra of Unraveling the Intended Meaning. So in this there are like 10 chapters in which in these 10 chapters, so you can there's a chapter towards the Bodhisattva Maitreya. So it was like Buddha giving teaching to the Maitreya. So in this teaching to the Maitreya, he said like in the chapter of teaching to the Maitreya, he said like, Maitreya, you should know that all the virtuous qualities and mundane or super mundane of the Sharvaks and Bodhisattvas and Tathagats result from the material serenity and insight. So here it is mentioned that all those like virtuous achievements made by the Sharvaks, all the virtuous qualities either is considered as a mundane or super mundane, which are achieved by the Sharvaks, Bodhisattvas or Tathagatas, all these are result from the meditative serenity or insight. So means like either through it is get these results are obtained through the meditation of single point meditation and analytical meditation, and also due to the this single point meditation and its similitude one or insight, especially actual insight, or its similitude one. So here so that's why all these are achieved through all these paths or virtuous qualities are achieved through these two. So it shows that how much important when you are doing meditation these two methods are. These two meditation are single point and analytical. So construe meditative serenity and insight, yes, including both actual serenity, insight, and state of mind, which similar to them. So when you are talking about the concept of actual meditation, when you are talking about meditation of the meditation, then they're like it is mentioned that also in the sutra, and also that the mention that there should be meditation through the actual single pointed and analytical. So when you are talking of meditative serenity, or which is called a single pointed, or insight, which is analytical meditation, so there is including of both actual serenity and insight, or a state of mind which is similar to them, because not an actual one but similar to serenity or similar to insight, for it is also called as a similitude, I think so. So for because to attain any virtues, all the virtues, to attain all the virtuous qualities of the Sharvaks, so mundane and super mundane, one have to practice both. One have to practice not only the meditative serenity and insight, but also those meditation which the meditative state of mind that is similar to them. For it is not certain that all the good qualities of three Vangels develop result by the actual serenity and insight. Why we have to? Why the question arises like why one has to meditate on the state of mind that is similar to both similar to the meditative serenity and insight? Because why it is because that some of the good qualities of three Vangels, some of the virtuous qualities of the three Vangels are developed or attained through this similar through this state of mind that is similar to them, not through the actual serenity or insight. So some of the qualities are attained through this state of mind that is similar to them. So that's why it is mentioned mentioned that not only the actual meditative serenity and insight, but also the state of mind which is similar to those meditative practice, so which is also needed, so attain all the virtuous qualities of the Sharvak, Bodhisattvas and Tathagatas. Yeah, and this is the just journal one, the journal descriptions of this thing. Now, Gilasaso.
Shekhe de tsane teta dunghe jele se ta teta bi shi shaba de san da donghe je de she yin so donghe je le ta donghe je de kare san nga tsu tu ju yong da ge shaga na chi his ta nga tsu mele ya she donghe she ga yi donghe na yi donghe chi donghe ye te to le ya medupa da tribi donghe dupa da tri donghe ndupi ngo ba tsi cha mene bi donghe don nyawa le bi phomba nga donghe se wa ta ti je te le ya donghe je sang chi 다 대인데 동해 접어래래야 아니 나세 땅아를 나래요. 에다 정아 기초 어떤 선바 기초 잡도 정아 기초 대다 동해 제래서 다 담보 시이 동해 상반에 알래서 시이 동해 상추텔래야 아니 나요래서 다 시이 동해 상추 나노 그 담보 가래서 시와 동해 따dembe 동해 안에 어떤 샤와서 내가 저 레네지 엉고 샤와랑고 여러 다 레네지 엉고 샤용데 샤와 인신체래야 레네지 엉고 샤 신체래야 동해다 댐비 쳤어 대 차네 동해와래서 대 간르서는 세진녀와 이빠다 지주스 파치도 동해에 이다나다스 내가 예 동해다 댐비 나와 찬네 장네 때서 내가 나와 찬네를 셔봐 차이노 장네 셔켄네 나와 장네를 셔봐 상지 장네 아노 긴 타도 둥해 이다스 다 이달이야 이 뒤바체 나게 뒤바 제 세컨디게 뒤바체서 뭐버다 너 뒤나 이달 두아테서 이달 강에 치시테서 코로 이달을 셔봐 상지 저공게 둥해 어디로 이서 다시 둥해 이달나 아니 녀니 셔봐 나 당세 녀니 셔봐 아사드 당아랑 좀 멜라스 바테서 멜라스 바테서 아니 소수 아만시 요라 only be negoli niene ma shepi kolia dume yore so tich gungali shabate se yebote dane se atandele nyawa dachi tachi to dume yida nyeshe gungali shate yebote dane shewana dunghe je choa chapo mambo ta cheba shewa wosa tendre ge she chute she yondele kor dunghe sa de choa dunghe ja choa dunghe chenpo ta chebe kone ne she go yores shewa dunghe da debe dungas o tere o ta tambo de tere she dunghe sanchu nga no ne shewa dunghe da debe dungas wa ta tere ta te chi juina
Okay, so now the journal description of the concept of the 8 types of suffering is already completed. Now Gisela will go with a detailed description or teaching on the 8 types of suffering. When for the in the detailed type, there are like 8 types of suffering, which is mentioned here that when you are doing the reflection on the suffering, there are like 8, 6, and 3. So in terms of 8 types of sufferings, what are these 8 types of suffering? Is suffering of the birth, suffering of the old age, suffering of the illness, suffering of the death, suffering of encountering what is unpleasant, suffering of separation from what is pleasant, suffering of not getting what you want, suffering of the 5 appropriate aggregates. So these are the 8 types of suffering. And when you are in these 8 types, when you are thinking of a suffering of birth, again there are 5 types. When you are thinking of suffering of old age, there's again 5 types, and illness 5. And each 8 suffering has again 5 divisions, which make a total 40 suffering in this suffering of the in this 8 types of suffering, which is there. When you expand it, there's again total 40 suffering. So in this first is the suffering of the birth. In the suffering of the birth, there are like 5 points to contemplate when you are thinking like each is a 5. So the first in the suffering of birth, it is like the first point. There are 5 points to contemplate. The first is the birth. Birth itself is a suffering because it is associated with the pain. Birth is accompanied by many intense feelings of pain or for the following 4 types of living being. So the concept of birth itself is considered as a suffering. The birth itself is considered as a suffering because because birth, when you are talking about birth itself is a suffering because it is accompanied by the many intense feeling of pain. So we can see in when those who are born as a helping, either they born in a hot realms or either they born in a health. Those people who are born in a hot dreams of hell, there are different types of hell. When one born in a hot hells, so he is having the suffering of that hotness, and then one who is born in a cold one, then he is having a suffering of this pain of having a coldness. So when you are born in a hell realm, so you are having their own, there's one taking birth in a hell realm also having a pain. And again, when you are taking birth as a hungry cause, then hungry cause also like taking birth as a invariable suffering, such as a suffering of they are having a very huge suffering, such as like a huge suffering of hunger and huge suffering of thirst and hunger, because due to their birth is a hungry cause, they are also having suffering and pain of the hunger and the thirst, like feeling of the thirsty. So also those people who those sentient beings who are born either through the from the womb or from being from egg or any from egg or the from womb, they're also having a suffering because they like one who was born from his mother's womb. So it is also like he has to born from the mother's womb. So one also face the suffering to take birth from the mother's womb. So there's also a suffering. There's like one who borns from the egg. So this shows that the suffering, the birth, one having taking birth is taking birth itself is a suffering, because this is taking birth is associated with the pain. So that's why it is itself is a suffering. Now, Gilas Hasso.
Shei dunghe sangcui nipa te karare se na shei dunghe sangcui tele ya koranga doa ta nipa de shawa ni nyele ta de se wadere ta shawa ni nyele ta de be dungha gale ya onsu chen duje tang chi mo tang tumbi ni nyele ta de be le su marwa tang anjoa ma ya Council Senji in Duje Moban Ruba now, no more be short of Timbi, Nangela, the Jason Javate. Donna Nomo Shawata, Nambata, Pays, I be Jason Gawala Kuzi, lesson Waya me. Chin Dundut on Joto was all that did. That name that sounds to the Shabu Chungoge, the church sound to Mari. That day, that Tada Dunghe, she sounds to Telea, Shabu Chungo, the Tumu, sounds to Dua. Anda ne dunghe dang, yidagi dunghe dang, tesu dunghe sangchu di shabmar. Tande shawa ne nyele da dewe dunghe sangchu di shabun jingi tumu mayimbi dunghe gangsi chandwar. Shi dunghe gangsi. Te kanda kangsung jin duje tangche ne se yode lene je ange depi kang, lene je ange zu kangsu shawa, lene je ange zu me kangsu shawa, tenri shi ge duje ge ngopo yonsu zoba tene, nyomo bigi shota tumbariyas. Kyo nyomo shogi demba. Nyomo bi shota tumbi nye leta dembe. Nyomo ngane da marete, nyomo nga mayina ya nyomo da jesu tumba. Nyomo bi shota tumbi nye leta dembe. Leso murungwa tangs. Leso murungwa sade, ko chi tachi to yite murungwa. Tachi to peshe zambu murungwa wate leso murungwa tangs. On joa mayina as. On joa asade, Deichi sosa tangda lani dei toleya betzen rabu chi murwares anjwa mayilas. Kansu ji senche chin duje ngoban ruba nawas. Kansu ji senche desu shawa lambi kausu duje ta ngara zu tende yala choni nali ya neban duje ke le jaba pa goba lemba se desu ki toni juenji chuyo. Ngoban ruba na nyomo bishoto timbi nengele res. Jesu ndrewate. O tindri yinsa ndo duna ni nyomo shewa tang, nyomo mutil pa junne ba tang, nyomo koni kondo pegi sabi jesu ndrewa. O ta tere kansongi o lenyo jo ongi shegi, opo kandra chi yinba yina ya, yana kola ya teni nyomo shewa. yana ko la tene nyomu mutu ne ba ne ba yang mina nyomu kumpe ton ro tendre ton jawa yu ke chang chang ji chan de res jawa la ke zu bi le so ro ya mes a chi to ya chi nyomu tam mutu ba jawa le ya ke yo ba jawa le ya a chi to jawa le ro ro yin ge tendre ge le so ro ate ta pen to ba chi yo ma res le so ro ya mes chen den de to an jo to ya joto ya mrons sosu ge ndoba ge tone tan de chena ngone ya bu ndo sa sa ge tone kan ta chi to ya kan de ge sosu besho ton rong chen chi yo ma de eso wa ta tere ende san to de shawa nye nye na to tembe dunga gon chi tere ko te chi joina
Lasogila. Okay, so okay, so now it comes to the second one. The second, it comes to the second 5 points to contemplate when you are thinking of suffering or birth. So it comes with the when you are talking the second concept. Second is the birth is a suffering. The birth itself is considered suffering because it's associated with the dysfunctional tendency. So when you are talking about this, all of the it is mentioned there. It is the when you are talking, it is that all the compositional factors of three limbs, whether it is it is form limbs, formless limbs, or these limbs. So when you are talking about these all three limbs, all the compositional factors of these limbs, because all the composition because they are associated with a dysfunctional tendency that is harmony with the class of that are in a harmony with the class of affliction and ill-suited to the surface of virtue and uncontrollable. So it is like all these all the compositional factors are due to the dysfunctional tendency of though it is considered dysfunctional nyomong the chatimbala regular nyomong nyomong the chat chatimbalani so maregila
reje
nyomong the
shuti
choktimba
nyoma
chotimba nyomong nyu mayimba nyomong the chotimbalani so regila
reje
nyomong the choktimbalani gila nyomong nyu laure nyomong nyu mayimba sharegila
chedang kora nyomo re yo ina nyomo cha de res mo so to ban
koran nyomong mi
nyomo 차를 차를
gila ki ka nangidu
아래 너무 쇼팅세 너무 더 쇼팅세데 너무 더 잡지 너무 게 콘토다
Okay, so when you are talking about all the composition factors of three limbs, because they are associated with the dysfunctional tendency that is in harmony with the class of affliction and ill-suited to the service and uncontrollable. So these are all the arise due to associate. This comes due to the dysfunctional tendency. Like these are the dysfunctional tendencies which have shared the similarity with the class of afflictions, so you can include in it, but it is you can't say it is a real affliction, but it is similar with it, and it is illustrated, or it is like it is never become like it is not as a considered as a virtuous one, and it is also like it comes uncontrollable. So once you possess a compositional factors of living being within the three limbs, you are too bound to the dysfunctional tendency. So when the individual, when you are either born in any of the three limbs, you possess any of the compositional factor, or you born in any of the three limbs, or you are connected with this dysfunctional tendency. You have a tendency which have a similar characteristic as afflictions. So you are having this characters. So in short, what is it shows that because the compositional factors are associated with seed that generates, sustain, and increase the affliction, they are ill suited to the service of virtue. So here it is that when you are talking about these compositional factors, these are the compositional factors which are associated with seed. When you are talking about 12 links of generation, 12 links of interdependence. You know about what first is ignorance, then it is karmas, and then it is consciousness. When you are talking about this, is the concept of the like karmas, or second one, the second link. Secondly, when you are talking about this is the comes in here, like when you are associated with the seed, when you are the compositional factors are associated with seed, that is those seed that generate, sustain, and increase the affliction. Those seed, when you are connected with this seed with just what it is this seed helps associate with the generation of increase the affliction instead of reducing it, and they are not going simultaneously, or they are not corresponding with the virtue, or this is not going with the virtues, and it is against it. So here, so these are the afflictions which arises, which you cannot control them as you are, or as you wish, because you are born in it. Like you cannot control them as your own wish, because you are afflicted, you are influenced by them. So here it is said that this concept, the birth is as suffering, because it's associated with this dysfunctional tendency. When you are talking about this thing, you are talking more through the concept of the this thought is not shared with this thought of mid person, the middle capacity, middle scope is not shared with the person with the small capacity, because earlier we have Gishla has discussed about the person with small capacity. So in terms of the birth, it's a suffering. When you are, it's showing through the birth, it's a suffering through the taking birth. It's a hell is a suffering. Taking birth is a hungry cause, is suffering. Taking born in a womb of the mother's womb is suffering. When you are talking about this in the first part, then it shows that this type of suffering, though it is mentioned in a person of the middle capacity, but it's shared with a person with a small capacity. This such a concept also shared with a person with a small capacity. But here in this second one, when you are talking about the birth is suffering, because it's associated with the dysfunctional tendency, when you are talking about it, it doesn't share with the person with a small capacity, but it is a not shared one of the middle capacity. This is a unique concept of the middle capacity, person with the middle capacity. So yeah, this is the one. Now Gila Sumba Dinarashika.
Sumba de Karisena, Shay Dunhe Sansu Sumbate, Shava Dunhe, Nesuchube Dunhavane, Savatero. Tate Kandaresana, Council de Shava Lambes, Telatene Gavata, Nawata, Chavala Subi Dunhe Jabanjo was Savatero. Dunhe, Nesuchova, say on the Tangarozo Dakon Shenanda, Zukonso Shenanda, Zume Conso Shenanda, Consul de Sheva Long Yodi, Telatene, Shawalan said, young guy dunge, Nai dunge, Chi dunge, and last of the Sunjungu, so what did it? Dunge Jabanjo, Dunge Tendramin Hasole, Shawa the long Shinchelia, Tene Gawata Nawata Chawala Subi Dunge, Pama Chebanjo, so what the sound the Tomate, Shawa Dunge Genius to be Dunge Sansu, so what I did it. What did you join?
Okay. Now in the comment, this third one, gila tandanga nibash dwa gila de sen nibadi zonni nge lenga jita di ya puchi ni gochu masun gila ngi tishi rob sabjita kevin ba gila ya bu gochu masun gila de nibash
Yeah, Shawa Nyeleta Dembe Dunkawa, Marazo Shawa Long Shinchele, Shawa Kandichi in Bayinaya. Dini Koro Nyomo da Shul Tumbachi Mato, Nyomo Lea Chikake Chakin Dabo, Nyomo Tang Ngewan Dabo Chunchan, Koro Nyomo Kunto Dabo, Nyomo Tan Java Yondeke, or Nyomo Mutunish, Chi Kodon, Chi Maranda Nebu Chandi Mato, Nyomo Tan Java Mapa, Loss of Shawa Chio Yomare, so Tanda Nibutere.
only less. So there's a brief summary of the second one. The brief summary of the second one, birth is suffering because it's associated with dysfunctional tendencies. Like the concept is that the every sentient being, whoever take birth, take birth in any of the three realms. One would take birth in the three realms. Whoever take birth, he or she will not get separated. But if he is taking birth from the due to the afflictions or the karmas, due to his affliction and karma, that individual sentient being, if he take birth any of the three limbs, he is taking birth through the afflictions, and that's affliction. or he is taking birth due to the associate with the dysfunctional tendency that is shares similar characteristic with the affliction. So due to this dysfunctional tendency, one has taken birth in the birth in these three limbs. So such ascendant beings will never ever get able to separate with the afflictions, like he can able, and he was under the rule of the suffering, affliction. So that is not separated from affliction, and he is under the rule of the suffering due to his taking birth as a through this dysfunctional tendency, which is similar with the which share the similar characteristic with the affliction. So one have to think that birth is a suffering in terms of this. One can visualize on this that birth is suffering with associated with dysfunctional tendency. One can visualize in the concept that taking birth is a suffering because one takes birth due to the his taking birth through the taking birth through the through associated with a dysfunctional tendency. When you are having such a dysfunctional tendency, then you always will circle around the you always are connected with the afflictions, and you are always circle around the affliction, that you are never able to able to detach from it because of this dysfunctional tendency. So if you are connected with it, so now it comes to the third concept. This birth is suffering because it is origin of suffering. When you are talking about this, so birth itself is suffering because it arises all the suffering. It is like it because it arises all the suffering because when you take birth in any of the three realms, either form, formless, or this voltage realms, when you take any of this taking birth in any of the three realms, so all these realms, you have to go under the taking under the suffering of the old age, suffering of the illness, suffering of the illness, and other suffering. So like individual have to illness or suffering of the death. So individual have to see or experience all those different sufferings when you are taking birth in this any of the three realms. So which shows that this concept shows that the birth itself is the origin of the suffering, because once you take the birth in any of these three realms, you have to either have to face all the other suffering, all the different varieties of suffering. That's why it is a origin of the suffering. Now, Gila Sasu.
다 셰이 동이 다 상치 히바테 셰와 녀무지 네수 추베 동하와네스 랑아런소 레네지 엉고 코알리 셰용디 셰바나 차비 유당 당유 유당 모반주 유나라 아니 도수 셰힌소 다 셰와랑 차딜리 셰와 텔레테네 아니 ndacha 셰사기 유 아니 셰당 셰사기 유아 디니 뜨무 셰사기 유 차르 그래스 어다 딘디기 유차를 차차도 아니 샤와 텔라테는 다차시 샤와랑발라 때니 희랑시 샤와랑발라 때니 티무시 두 유나라 두수시 두송부 텔라테니 양 양저 류랭 거다 다차시 나온게 레사 용거라 레사니 대죠 부들라 때니 아니 레사 레 텔라테니 류당 아니 류타 세로토 마게케스 류 마이 류 메데바 세 주로도 마이와차 마이게 두게니 데발라 메네바 두게 파마체 바 요네 데발라 천 네투 마레스 데와 자노 바치 요 마레스 데발라 메네바 데스 뇨모페 고나초네 류타 센도스 뇨모페 라 만다 샤왈랑 차딘 더차 공중 아제 차도 해당 때문 어다 다 세나라서 봐 셰네 네 류리야 강에 세리야 강에 조그레스 왔다 때려 어떤데 상한테 아니 샤와 너무 찍네 수출비 이게 돈에 두개 상수에서 왔다 때려
No, so now we come in the fourth section. So here, when you are talking about the birth is suffering, birth is so birth is suffering in terms of it is caused is due to the birth is rise due to the it is caused due to the affliction. When you take a birth due to the affliction, so like it is considered as a birth, not as a normal like a normal birth, which is due to our karmas and affliction. We take a birth, such a birth is considered as a suffering. So when you are talking about birth is suffering because it is origin of the affliction. So So it is said that those who takes birth due to the affliction, when one individual take birth or any sentient being take birth due to the cause affliction cause one take birth. So such a birth is the origin of all the afflictions, and also origin of not only the affliction, it is also the origin of the ignorance, and or is also the origin of the hatred. So when an individual take the birth or born in a cyclic existence due to his affliction, so when an individual take birth, so all the three mental poisons, which is attachment, angers and which is attachment, angers, and ignorance, arise from the object of arises so arise for the object of attachment. So like when an individual take birth due to its affliction, so all the other afflictions started to rise, because he is the object of the that is the object of the all the mental poisons. So all the three mental poisons for arises object of the because he is the object of the attachment, hostility, ignorance. So it is object of these all the three mental poisons, and then as a result his mind and body get disturbed, because he is the object of all this, is because he is the place where all these things arises, this mental poison arises, which led the individual to get their mind and body get disturbed or in pain or unhealthy. That person become unhealthy, and then you cannot be a help happy. So you cannot be happy. Then these afflictions, this affliction, three poisons, you disturbs your mind and body in numerous way. So again you will so these things, when your affliction started, when you take birth through the afflictions, then you take birth in the samsara through affliction, then you are again due to these three poisons, you will think you will do non-virtuous, or you will disturb your mind through the attachment, hostility, ignorance, and again you take birth again and again to the samsara and all the samsara, and your body and mind get disturbed again and again. So this shows that birth is a suffering, because birth itself, taking birth in samsara, it is the origin of all the other afflictions, all the affliction and disturbing your mind and body. Now Gilasaso.
also ngabat shi dum he son chu ngabat kares shawa mundu ye ti chuni yimbe dum ha ne sa de tanga chu shawa long cha de chai jil yang shawa de categories ndapa mena ya category pele na mi shawa long cha de yang me yulut da category ma to kamedia chene ta tapa chi yo mara o ta lo jag no chule category hiduro o te san su 샤바 탕체제 다 치와래 만데기 대양 문제라 대자 눈에困难와 샤바 와서 다 샤와지 랑 신체래야 아니 카티 춘이래스 맞지 카니 임빈 그래서 매일랑나 라일랑난다 와게 라일랑난다 무이 돈주 차차 조사 간데기 르랑바이나 타과 양자 힘이 다 쳐와래 만데기 제 희와도 속강은 여기 말해서 다 동해 쇼부 여ken이나 양시 랑시 조ken 여러 마도 시용고 차된 가서 메이나 사이나 십도 쳐는 여기 와 말해 십면대 나야 신주어로 대면대라 된데기 십면대 나야 시와에 자 산을 동해 주고라 된데에서 시바 통제제다 쳐와래 만데 인사 시와 면대에도 네 춘이 임비잖네 동해랑 이래서 대저 동해 코나노와 셔봐 와서 대이 돈이 나야 샤와랑 차이 신체 아니 저거 아 제이 춘이 인상 대이 돈이 나야 나랑 저를 동해 샤와랑 때문에 동해 주고요래서 어때 상바때 샤와 면도 이게던지 춘이 임비 돈에 동화 상수유서 어때래
Lasugila. So now we come with the fifth one. The birth is suffering because it is unwanted separation. So it is said that if an individual take birth in birth, then there's like it's a nature that after one who take birth will like it has also have an end, that it will go one day he will die. Even he doesn't want to, which is even he undesirable, or he doesn't want to die. It is like he has to die because it is nature. So the one who take birth, it is eventually he has to die. It's the nature, so that one which cannot be cannot be changed. So even one stay for 100 years, and then one day he has to separate or separate from this world, and he has to pass away. So uh, so uh, so this is the nature that you one taking birth and getting separated from this world is an separated or passing away is the nature. So even like until no one desire to be in such way until one who takes suicide. Some people who take suicide. So beside that, those people, no one desire to get died or pass away. No one desire to die in like today or tomorrow. No one desire. So it shows that birth no one desire and desire to pass away and to separate from this from your from to desire for separation. So it is true that birth is a suffering because birth itself because it also lead to the unwanted separation. Even the one no one desire to be separated, and it leads to separate. It gives us a pain of separating, suffering of separation. So it itself is a suffering. So all the births and the death, which is undesirable and cause you to experience only suffering. So it is that how that all the birth like human when they take birth through the affliction, they like eventually they has to pass away, and that's the passing away and separation. The process of separation is a painful and suffering one. So it is called, that is why I call that the birth is a suffering. Now Gelas Hasmo.
Oh yeah, that tetana don't know. She said, "Dunga da jeba dance." Nyele ta demba she hins. Ta thoma ngaro su meta ba yin ba na susu ge ami ge kopa ne shawa lam bi ko so. Ani dunga ta jeba ge to ni shawa lam. Te za ma se nyele sa de ji nyoma ta demba. Nyoma ta tumbi to ni shawa lam. Tenda ishe ba dechang, ani yangcha she tsane, ani na ga chewa tsu lingures, ani nyomo pa tetsu tang, ani nyomo pa yangchen, ani jima nyomo she, ani nyomo she wa ma tsa tali chidhigura, o chewa las. Teta kecha dunga wa shibi tsui samba sheba wosa, o jutsen tende ke toni ni, shewa lamba te, ani dunghe ta chibi toni she, dunghe ke rangi ke toni she, dunghe nrenpa shebi chane shewa. A teni nrebo yang dunghe njongondo, nrebo yang ani nyomo njongondo, o tende ke toni shewa lamba tele ya dunghe koro dunghe ge rangi maya, dunghe dan rawa yueke, dunghe ta kame rawa, o tende jira shaa sansa tene, ini she yi dunghe sansu yu se wata tere. Deda ke dunghe wa shebi tsui samba shia ba, o se wata te ji jue na, ani penche tsande sar.
Lasso, Gila, Lasso. So hence, thus, at the birth, you born to pain and endowed with a dysfunctional tendency. Birth leads to the illness, aging, and so forth, as well as to afflictions and death. So it is here. It is shared that consider how these give us a suffering as well. So here it is like hence like after this all five after mentioning all these 5 points of the suffering of birth. So after mentioning these 5 points, it is concluded in this section that at birth, you are bound with the pain, and birth is, which is showing the first point, the birth is a suffering. So birth, you are bound with the pain, and when you are taking birth, you are endowed with the dysfunctional tendency. So when you are talking about the dysfunctional tendency, which is there in the second one, so what does it mean? It shows that you are taking birth with, you are having the person who is the individual who is taking birth is having afflictions, and also it is that the person having the harmony with the affliction. So this is show the dysfunctional tendency that you are having an affliction, and you are having you are also the like harmony with the affliction. So because you take birth due to the affliction, so you are bound with the pain, and you are also endowed with the dysfunctional tendency. So such a birth, when you take birth, so what happens is this lead you to the which lead also you to the suffering through the illness. When you got to the old age, you will become old age, or also lead to the aging, also lead to the illness. So it is, these are the natures that they leading to aging and so forth. And as well as also this as to the affliction, as well to the affliction and death, because you are taking birth due to the affliction, so cause of affliction, so you are also engaged with the affliction, and also eventually it also lead you to the death. So these show that when you take birth, how these all these started to arises, and these are all these continuously give you a suffering. These are continuously give you a suffering. So this all shows that how you are connected with this taking birth is connected or related with the suffering, how it arises the suffering, how it arises the suffering, and how it related to the unwanted separation, and how it is related to the suffering. So these are all these 5 points shows it that the birth is the suffering through these things.
Oh yeah, that just Dambachas.
So we will conclude in this section, as it already the time is over.
Okay, now we do the dedication. Okay. Prayers after teachings, mandala offerings. This ground is anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, the four continents, sun and moon. Visualizing it as a Buddha view, our field, so that all beings may enjoy this view. Idam Guru Rana Mandatakam Niyatayami. The Green Mountain Paradise, you are the source of good and happiness. Powerful Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezi, may you stay until samsara ends. Praying for our teachers' perfect health, praying for our teachers' ages life, praying for our works to grow and spread, blessing never to part from them. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of Guru Buddha, so that I may also be all beings through this very enlightened state. May the precious Buddhi mind, not yet born, arise and go. May that bond have no decline, but increase forevermore. Just as the blessed Buddhas of the past have dedicated, just as blessed Buddha's presence yet existing is dedicated, just as the blessed Buddha of the future will dedicate, we learn, learn, and dedicate likewise. Young Chenmo has prospered, or has spread, but then declined. May illuminate their treasure of happiness and benefit with a mind deeply moved by great compassion. May anyone who merely sees, hears, remembers, touches, or talks to me be free in that very instant from all suffering and abide in happiness forever. For as long as space endures, for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world. May I be protector to those without one, a guide for all travelers who are away, may I be a bridge, boat, and ship for all who wish to cross the waters. Venerable compassion, good, receive a blessing, all coming to have all obstacles and suffering and malice and envy. May our ripen of us, and give happiness and virtues to others, and invest all beings in bliss. Okay, over to Gishila.
Sa ye beje shunge mendo da ra le ye ne de jaba. Sanje gen do min den be wa yin do gen no da e dang go ra na me da la ya da ya me da ge che ne sa be ge wan de tan tang ro ju na kan be na che ba ju cha lo so de be ne mo ren do se je sho ga ra ra ye ko yi xin ga sa pe na de wa ma li ju she re za wa tin zi cha se sha be se de den jo je dana je se la ma tu je je ma jun ri de ri do ma le da 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 la mi ba da da ge de ya la rge da 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 ba shen ja la dana je se la ma tu je je ma jun ri de ri do ma le da 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 la mi ba da da ge de ya la rge da 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 ba shen ja la dana je se la ma tu je ma jun ri de ri do ma le da 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 la mi ba da da ge de ya rge da 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 ba shen ja la pa ma sen ja ta je da da je ngen ro ta je ta do shang je san ba kan na su ya da ge je ma ro jo je tam ba la na me bi tam ba dan ji wan de ra la mi ti ja wan de an ro ma ye ne da ban zi bi jo ro o ya
Angela, tuche.
o ya.
Okay, thank you, Gishila. See you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you. Tashi Dili.
Tashi Dele,
Bye-bye. Okay, bye, Menkila. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Yeah, see you. Yeah. Bye-bye. Yeah, bye.